Hey, it's Mr. Nowicki here. I'm going to show you how to pull in an image into Inventor so that you can create a 3D object from it. So I went out to the internet and I saved an image file. By default, internet likes to save it to the pictures folder. You can see that maybe you can see, I took off this registered trademark thing and cleaned it up a little bit in Paint. You can figure that out if you need to. And don't worry about the size necessarily of the image. I can scale it down once I go to 3D print this. So let's get started. Launched Inventor. I'm going to go here and click New Part. Then I'm going to start a new sketch. Click my XY plane. And if you look over here in this Insert section, I can click Image. Now, if your tools aren't showing up, you can click this button and it cycles through different toolbar views, and that's the one you want. Also, again, if you accidentally close out that Model tab, you can go to View, User Interface, Model. Okay, so back to the Sketch tab. I'm going to go to Image, and I'm going to go to where I have my image saved. And I'm going to click that. You might need to scroll out or zoom out, zoom in, depending on the size of your image. And once I click once, I just hit Escape and then Finish Sketch. This is extremely, extremely important that you click Finish Sketch. Otherwise, you'll run into problems. So now I'm going to start a new sketch. So if you think of this as if it's like tracing paper, we're going to trace over this. So that's what we're going to do there. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and click on this rectangle tool. And the only part I want for my purposes that I'm going to 3D print is this TSA part. Alright, so I have a rectangle around there, and I'll fillet the edges in a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and click this line tool, and if you scroll in really far, really even curves are just a series of straight lines. So I just keep clicking, and I can zoom in and out. Again, using my scroll wheel to readjust it so that I can see everything. And I'm going to do this very quickly because I don't want you to just sit here watching me click this a bunch of times. So for argument's sake, I'm just going to click on this just to get it quickly. If I were doing this to actually, like, say something I wanted, and again, I made sure I clicked once it was green, so that's a closed loop sketch. But I'm not going to finish my sketch yet because I want to get these other parts here. Because I can extrude them all at once. And wait till it's green. There it is. Now that's closed loop. That is essential. If you don't get that green, that means you can't extrude it, and if you can't extrude it, you can't print it on the 3D printer. Okay, so make sure you're paying attention to that. Alright, so now I can click Finish Sketch, and then I can highlight, let's say I can do Extrude, and You'll have to play around with your size. Again, the size of this image was really big. It was actually like a couple 100 inches or something. So I extruded it just by appearance. And again, I can scale this up on the computer. So now that I have this part done, the only problem here is, if you notice, this is technically in 4 different pieces. There's nothing holding it together. So now what I can do is I can start a sketch here, and I can come around to, say, the back of this, and now I can actually create a rectangle, and I can click finish, and then I can extrude that the other direction. And now if I right click on this sketch, that's the sketch with the image, I'm going to click on uncheck visibility, and there I have my cool TSA thing. And of course, if I wanted to curve these edges, you're going to have to play around with the sizes and stuff, just whatever looks right for yours, because again, I can scale this up on the 3D printing software pretty easily, and I'll make sure it fits within the constraints of the project. I'm just going to finish flying that one, and then I click apply, and that's it. So this is all set. I can go ahead and click save, and I'm going to call this 3D, let's see, my last name dash 3D print. Right, I'm going to save it 2 times because I can't print an IPT file. So what you're going to have to do is do File, Export, and then you're going to click on CAD Format. And at this point, you have to click Options. Whoops. Nope, click Save as Type first, then go to STL Files. Now click Options. And make sure you're clicking underneath binary units here, click inch. And then click OK and save. Okay, so that file there, I'm hoping, yep, there it is right there. If I go back out, you can see it has a different icon there. Yours may or may not have that. But now that STL file that's different, that is what you're going to submit in the assignment so that I can pull that down and print it out. And that's it.